The following thoughts on Hoppe Hour do not represent Cox Media Group or its sponsoring. Anything you hear may and will be used against you. Thank you. Voted as best local podcast in Tampa Bay by the Creative Loafing. You're listening to Hoppe Hour.
What up? What's happening? This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. And on the phone line is the coach of the Fort Wayne Mad Ants of the NBA D-League. Steven Gansey is on the phone line. What's up, dude?
What's up, Ryan? How you doing, man? Thanks for having me on.
Well, thanks for being on the show, man. We first met in a wild way. Me, you, and my friend Kevin were out getting a few beers, and I just remember I liked your vibe, man. And then we kept in touch. I added you on Facebook, and I saw that you're doing big things. So first of all, before we even get the interview going, congrats on getting the job as the coach of the Fort Wayne Mad Ants, dude. That's a badass gig, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's I was in Fort Wayne for 5 years, and then last year, being from Cleveland, where I met you at, I went back home and got a job with the Canton Charge. There was associated with the Cavaliers, and it was a great learning experience being affiliated 1-to-1 with an NBA team. Being in the D League, and then this past year had the opportunity to come back to Fort Wayne. That the Pacers bought them and was interested, and it's just been great, man. Really excited, and thankful for the opportunity.
Now, with the job, is it as nerve-wracking as you expected, or has it been a bit easier? Like, I can't imagine what it's like being the coach of an NBA D-League team. So how has it been? Have you had a lot of pressure, or has it been fun?
Yeah, I mean, it's been both. There's pressure, and it's been fun also. I was an interim head coach when I was 26, so I got a little taste of it when I was a little bit younger. Now I'm 30. I feel like I'm old, but I guess it's pretty young. But just having that experience really helped me. It's a lot different when you're sitting 6 inches over the left, in the big seat rather than being an assistant. But you got to go through those challenges and go through those years of understanding the game and knowing what's going on and what a head coach thinks and all that. And that's what kind of helped me throughout the past couple of years.
Now, here's what I want to know for anybody who's a coach, especially for the NBA D-League. How does the interview process work? Like for me in radio, you send the application online and then you try to get your foot in the door by messaging somebody. For somebody that wants to be an NBA D-League coach, were you referred? Did you see an opening? Did you send your resume? How does it work for somebody who wants to be a coach of a team? How did it work for you?
Well, right when I got done playing college, I played at Cleveland State and I played at Ashland University. Going from my senior year at Ashland, I had the opportunity to work with USA Basketball. I was on support staff. It was a non-paying. It was an internship, pretty much. I got to work with their under-19 team. DeAndre Jordan played on that team. Tyreek Evans, Stephen Curry. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of him. He's pretty good. He was on that team also. So I got to be around those guys, and that was an internship. And from there, I actually worked with Priority Sports and Entertainment. It's NBA and an NFL agency that they represent players. Some of the best players all over, the country and everything. And I worked with their basketball operation and helped out with workouts and everything. And then from there, I sent an email to the Fort Wayne Mad Ants in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and asked them if I could, just volunteer and get the experience of helping out. I didn't have aspirations of being a basketball coach at first. I actually wanted to be a sports attorney. I wanted to represent players. But I just loved being on the court, working out guys, and getting guys better. And then I kind of fell through that. I sent an email at 9 a.m. and I got an email back from Joey Meyer, who was the head coach. He was he's a great college coach at Paul. His dad's the great Ray Meyer. And he emailed me back at 11, 2 hours later. He said, when can you be here? And I said, I'll be there tomorrow. And I packed my car, and I told my parents, and they put me up to like a month in a hotel, and we started training camp the next day, and then I was there for the next 5 years pretty much.
Dude, isn't it awesome when you have parents that have your back? Because I have the same thing down here where my mom is helping me make my dream work in radio. She helps me sometimes when it comes to like cash and money. So how awesome is it for you when you tell your parents, oh, I got this potential gig with the Mad Ants? Like, how heartwarming is that your parents had your back with that announcement?
It's great. I mean, my parents are very supportive. When I told them I was leaving, it was basically like, where are you going to live? All the mom and dad, questions of, are you going to be safe and all that? And I'm like, hey, I'm what I'm going to do. And, can you throw me some gas money and I'll figure it out pretty much. And they're very supportive, and they still are. And, over the years, always giving me food to take back and everything. I mean, even though I'm older now, my mom is always going to be taking care of me. So they've been great.
Now, what is it like when you find out that you are the next coach of the Fort Wayne Mad Ants? Like, what is the first thing that came to your mind? Were you like in awe? Were you hyper? Like, how does that go down, bro, when you find out you're the coach?
I was very honored and privileged, to have this, position. I was really excited, about running my own team and doing everything that the Pacers are doing. Last year I had the opportunity to be around the Cavs, in training camp, and then, in summer league, and then, Jordy Fernandez, the head coach of the Canton Charge team, him and I ran all their draft workouts, for the Cavs, because the Cavs were in the finals. So it was a great experience, and just being named the Mad Ants head coach, being in training camp with the Pacers, for a month and a half, living down in Indy, and getting to know all their, Coach Vogel's offense and defensive philosophies was great. I'm still learning them, and having to have my own team and doing everything that the Pacers are doing and implementing them myself with the Mad Ants has been just a great challenge.
What are some of the things that you showed the team? Like, how did you get the job? Like, what are some of the things that you showed them that you could do that got you the job? Did you show them your plan for the offense, the defense, the rebounding? How did you get them to think you were the guy for the job? What did you show them?
When I was in Fort Wayne, my first, 5 seasons, I had a relationship with, Frank and Dan Burt and a couple of the guys. Vance Catlin, he's one of the scouts. Ryan Carr, he's their pro personnel scout. I knew Peter Dinwiddie, he's the vice president of the Pacers. So I had a relationship with those guys. Those guys saw how I worked over those years. And then, my new GM, Brian Levy, I've known him. He's been in the D-League for a couple of years also. So just having those relationships and, the fact that I was with the Cavs D-League team camp last year, and understanding, how the whole one-to-one affiliation works and being around it, and the success that we had last year in camp. And, just that experience, really was a good fit for me. And I thought that, just from my experience, my player development background, I could help the Pacer players, to get the minutes and the roles that the Pacer guys want them to.
Now, at first, you did not think that you wanted to be a coach, but when was there a point when you said, I think this sounds sort of intriguing? Was it when you were at the Cavs camp, or was there a time at the Canton Charge? When did you say to yourself, I think I want to be a coach of an NBA D-League team? What was that point in your life?
It was when, I didn't necessarily, just want to be a D-League coach. I wanted to work out players. I wanted to get on the court. I wanted to make guys better. That was when I was in Chicago working with Priority Sports. Their draft class guys. They had Maury Carroll, Leo Lyons. I'm trying to think who else. Luke Aaron Jeremy Pargo, he played at Gonzaga, Tyrese Rice, those guys, being around those guys, working those guys out in the summer, just getting them better. And then, DeMar Carroll, obviously, he got drafted. A couple other guys, Joe Ingles, he got drafted, he plays for the Utah Jazz right now. It's just being around those guys, getting those guys better. After that stint in Chicago, I realized I didn't want to go to law school right away.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see where this coaching thing kind of would go, and I've been enjoying it since. I feel like I really don't have a real job because I just love going to work every day.
That's awesome, man, because I feel the same way about, like, radio. Like, isn't it awesome when you have a passion for something that when you get paid to do it, doesn't it seem unreal, man?
Yeah, it's great. I'm driving right now. I was at the Pacer game tonight. I sat right behind the bench, listening to, Coach Vogel, speak to the guys, being right there, right behind Paul George and George Hill and everybody, and, seeing those guys talk and seeing what plays that Coach Vogel's drawing up, and being there, before games, seeing him speak, and, halftime, the adjustments and everything. It's pretty cool. It's pretty surreal, and it's just a great opportunity.
Now, how do you scout out guys? What do you look for in them? Is it rebounding, assist, scoring? What is your key to seeing the potential in a player?
Well, the first thing I really look at is, their energy and their effort. You really can't teach that. But I mean, you shouldn't, but that's one thing that you need to harp on a daily basis. So, I obviously want guys that are gonna play their ass off on a court and do what they're supposed to do, and then skills obviously come into play next. But it really just depends on the style of play you want to play. I mean, if you want to play a more up tempo style, you got to have guys that are in better condition and that can run. I'm more of a defensive guy. I like guys that get in stances and lock up and have a lot of pride one-on-one defense. Those are the guys I really look for first. You can score a lot of points, but if you can't stop anybody, it doesn't help anybody. It doesn't win a lot of games, that's for sure.
How do you get your players in the zone when it comes to playing defense? Because everybody loves to score. It's fun. But what do you say to your guys to help them get in the zone, maybe when it's one last play and you have to prevent a shot from going in? What do you say to your guys to help them focus?
Well, I mean, it's Ryan. It's pretty simple. I mean, if a guy doesn't play defense, then he's going to come out and he's going to sit by me. I take a lot of pride in defense. I mean, we drill it, pretty much every day. We track a lot of things. My assistants track deflections. We track, contests. How many times we contest the, shots and everything. So it's very important. But in terms of telling guys, I just tell them, hey, you need to have, you need to lock your own man down. I mean, we're a help defensive team, but you need to take pride one-on-one, and if you can't stop anybody, then that's going to hurt your minutes. And I don't really care what you do on the offensive end. It's all about defense for me.
Now, do you ever cringe in your seat when one of your guys that you love to watch play, any of them, doesn't play the best defense? How do you feel, because you can't go out there and help them play because they're playing for themselves? Do you ever get mad during the game where it's hard to focus, when one of your guys isn't listening to you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you get frustrated. I get frustrated every game. Everything. I know that everything can't be perfect.
Yeah,
we're gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna make mistakes. Players are gonna make mistakes, but as long as we don't make the same mistakes twice, that's kind of my motto and my philosophy. So, but yeah, I mean, if guys not doing what he's supposed to do, then yeah, I'm gonna get frustrated. And as long as they learn from that and they make it up for it, or do something special, I'll pretty much let it go. But if it's an ongoing thing, then that gets me really frustrated, then that's probably going to result in a timeout or a substitution.
Now, how do you get to know your guys on the team? Like back in the 90s, Phil Jackson would have everybody meditate. So are there things you do to get to know the team and to have everybody get along? What are some things you do to help the team?
Yeah, we have team functions. We'll the one thing we try to do is try to take the whole team out, at dinner, in a nice place, just have that chemistry, camaraderie, and get guys, to know each other. I mean, we've had everybody so far, through 13 games, everybody's been with us since training camp. So we got a good vibe of, chemistry with our guys, and, just trying to do little things. We're going to have some yoga sessions coming up during the year, just some different things, might take the guys, to paintball or something like that, just to kind of get their competitive juices flowing or something, just to do something different rather than, everything's just basketball, just practice, just doing more team functions. We'll start to do those here pretty soon, but we like to do like a team dinner at least once a month.
Now, I sometimes get so focused on radio that I forget that there's things to do in life, like work out or have fun or watch Netflix. I assume when you're the coach of an NBA D-League team, it's often hard to find free time. But when you do find free time, what are some things that you do to help relax your nerves?
I try to work out as much as possible. It's not a everyday thing. Sometimes our travel is pretty tough. Sometimes I'm just tired, and sometimes I'm just hungry. I'd rather just go eat rather than go work out. That's pretty much the truth. But I like to unwind a little bit. I like to go to I'm by myself, single, I have no kids, stuff. So it's not like I have a lot of responsibility outside of basketball, at home. So I'm not a huge cook or anything. So I like to go out to eat. I like to try different foods. I'm not a chain restaurant guy. I just don't believe in them. I believe in local. So I like to try new local spots and just try to check out a bunch of different places. During my travels at the D-League, we go to a lot of minor league cities. Tomorrow we're flying out to Sioux Falls, and I'll check out a couple of those places that they have. And I just like to go out to eat. I'm not a huge TV guy. I mean, right now during the season, there's so much basketball going on. Watching the Pacers and then watching the rest of the D-League, I really don't have time to sit down and watch Breaking Bad or anything like that.
Is it ever hard to sleep at night before a game, or is it ever hard to go to bed after a loss? Like, how is your sleep schedule? I've always wondered what it's like for a coach. So what's it like for you?
Yeah, it's tough. Obviously when you have a big win, you're excited and you want to celebrate a little bit. And then when you have a bad loss, you want to, that's all you think about. And you want to watch film and you want to, try to nitpick everything. My philosophy, that I've kind of go towards is never get too high on a win and never get too low on a loss. So I try to stay even keel with it. I mean, it's tough, but, there's some nights where, I don't sleep very well, and, we got bus rides sometimes after games, but, it varies. It varies. Sometimes I don't get a lot of sleep, but, we practice every day at noon. So if I don't necessarily get that sleep, the night before, maybe, I'm sleeping in a little bit longer and having, our coaches meeting, just a little bit later. So I have the authority to do that. Now that I'm the head coach, I can call whatever meetings and practices we have. So that's the luxury of it.
How often is basketball on your mind during the day, and how often are you doing prep for the team?
It's all the time. I mean, sometimes I tell myself, all right, I'm going to go home, I'm going to unwind and, make dinner, and I'm going to watch, a movie or something, and the next thing you know it, I'm sitting there watching the Cavs, play the Pelicans. It's like,
Yeah.
You really, I'm pretty sure it's kind of the same thing you have with radio. I mean, when you're not on the radio, you're probably listening to the radio.
Or thinking about it, yeah.
Yeah, or thinking about it. It's pretty much the same thing with basketball. I mean, I don't watch a lot of college basketball, even though, a lot of my friends do, and they're always telling me about, this player and that player. But with the D-League and the NBA, I mean, there's games on all the time, and, I try to watch those as much as possible. But, it's tough. It's definitely tough.
How often do you watch your rivals that are maybe winning more than you? Like, how often do you watch them? Or is it hard to watch them? How does that work? Like, is it weird to watch a team that's top tier play, or does it pump you up to get your team better?
Obviously when, I left, the Canton team, I actually, I watched probably a little bit more of their games than others, but I always keep track of them. I mean, I was with those guys. I know their system and what they want to do, and kind of watch them a little bit more to see and pick up some of the things that they're doing differently. I mean, they're in our division, so we've played them already twice. We split 1-1. So
yeah.
I always will read up on their articles and social media and seeing what Jordy has to say, because I have a lot of respect for him. But, always watching our rivals. I mean, we play Sioux Falls on Friday, so I'll be, I've been watching them. And I'll watch them tomorrow. We got a long travel day, so watching a lot of tape from those guys, see what we can, do. There's a couple plays that we can run to kind of, get a couple easy buckets against them. I mean, always prepping, always watching other guys around the league and seeing what we can do to beat those teams.
Now, how would you break down the first 13 games of this season? Are you happy with them, or do you want to see more improvement? How do you think it's been so far for the Mad Ants?
Well, we're 8-5 right now. We're fourth right now in the East. I think I'm overall pretty happy with our with the way we've been playing. We've won 8 games. It's pretty good in the D-League so far. So there's still a lot of games left. But I like the chemistry with our team. I mean, it's a process. I understand that. Players understand that. I got to keep harping on them. But just trying to get better every day. Every time that we can practice. Every time we have a shoot around. Every time that we play games, just trying to get 1% better. That's what I've been preaching to these guys. And there's things that we need to work on. Offensively, and there's things we need to work on defensively. So just trying to harp on those guys. Just trying to get as many wins as possible, but also developing these guys. These guys have better basketball situation for next year.
Now, Joe Young has splashed onto the scene as he is averaging 22 points per game with the last 2 games. How pumped are you for Joe? What has he done right so far as he is playing some good basketball?
Well, Joe was on assignment for the Pacers just this past weekend. He's back with them now. He's back with the Pacers, so he only played 2 games. And Joe's an exciting player. He's very good offensively. He's young. He's a rookie. He was a very exciting player at Oregon. He was a high scorer and everything, and can really shoot the ball. And he played 2 games with us. He had 27 the first night, and second night, it was like 19 or something like that. Played pretty well. There's things that he needs to work on, offensively and defensively. also. But Joe's a very exciting player. Happy to have him. For those 2 games, hopefully, he gets assigned again and helps us, to get some more wins. But very exciting player, great kid, great work ethic. Looking forward to seeing him, get some minutes, with the Pacers also. He played the last 3 minutes of tonight's game against the Mavericks, and he hit a 3, hit a nice little pull-up jumper. Just got to continue to get better every day that he's with the Pacer coaches and with the Pacer players, and then with us with the Mad Ants.
Now, you said that Joe is doing very good, but there are things that he needs to improve offensively and defensively. When he does some of those trends during the game, what do you tell him to help him focus and get in the zone without maybe hurting his confidence? What do you say to him to help him without, hurting it? You know what I mean?
Well, I have a certain style of coaching. These guys, Joe's a rookie. He's a young guy, so I want to give him. I keep telling him to stay aggressive. I want to give him some freedom on the offensive end, but he needs to be the quarterback on the court, so to say. He needs to get everyone in their positions. He needs to get everyone in their spots, and make sure everyone knows what play that we're going to run. He needs to continue to work on that and get everybody in the right spots. Like I said, he's only played 2 games. He only played 2 games with us, so he didn't play the first 13 games with us. It was the first 11 games. So it was tough, for him to adjust because he's never played with these guys. I understand that. He understands that, but it's just trying to get him, to be in the right spots. And hey, my job is to coach him and coach, all the other guys. So, if I need to get on him, if I need to sub him out, that's what I'll do. But he was great this past weekend, and hopefully, he learned a couple things.
Now, what do you do when you bring a guy in and you've played 11 games so far? How do you make him feel comfortable when he's playing for 2 games after there's been 11 games? How do you make him feel at home?
Well, it's an easy transition for him. Like I said, the Mad Ants are owned, and operated by the Pacers. So, the luxury of myself being at Pacers training camp, for a month, being in Indy for a month and a half with their workouts and understanding what, the offensive sets are and defensive philosophies and everything, what they want. It was an easy transition for Joe. Joe knew all the plays. Joe knew what we were trying to do on the defensive end. So, just trying to, and, there's things that I've added that, I do maybe a little bit differently than Coach Vogel, too. I'm not coaching Paul George, with the Mad Ants. He is. So, having certain players, different players than the Pacers, and just kind of having those guys in different spots in different areas to succeed is the kind of the tough part. But Joe is great.
Have you ever had any good advice from Frank Vogel over the past few weeks and months?
Yeah, he said I'm giving you a good team, so don't mess it up. That's what he told me. No, he's just been, I talked to him, before the game, tonight, and I talked to him after the game, and he just said, "Hey man, you're doing a good job, and keep harping on those guys, Rakeem and Shane, and when Joe's assigned, and keep coaching them, and keep being demanding in your certain spots. You don't want to be a yes man or anything like that, but always coach these guys and try to get the best out of them." He always tells me that. So,
how unreal is it to think that you are having advice from Frank Vogel? How awesome is that, dude?
This is pretty cool. What's even cooler is, Larry Bird's been to a couple of our practices already. He's been to a couple of our games.
That's awesome.
Being there and the Pacers have a 28-man roster, with us, Pacers and Matt Ants, and, he's always checking up on us and make sure that everything's going smooth and all that. It's just great just having him stand, being at our practices. I mean, it's just great motivation for everybody.
Now, what has Rakeem Christmas done so far that has impressed you? As he is averaging 19 points per game, 2 blocks, and 7 rebounds. What has he done right so far?
Rock's been great for us. He's D-League Player of the Week last week. He's been a great force for us inside. Rock is extremely athletic. He averaged 17.5 at Syracuse, last year. He's another guy that, can do a lot of things on the basketball court. He's starting to develop his 15, 17-foot elbow jumper a little bit more. He's getting more confident in that. Rock can really run the floor. He can come weak side and block a lot of shots. Rock's going to continue to get on the defensive glass a little bit more and just continue to play hard. That's one thing that we want from Rock, and Rock's been great for us. Lucky to have him. I mean, he's been with us since day one, and he's definitely got me some W's.
And now, who are some other guys on the team that have been good for you so far during these first 13 games, as your record is 8-5?
Marcus Simmons, he played at USC. He was in training camp with the Chicago Bulls. He was on the team last year. Bulldog defensively. Really coming along on the offensive end now. He's just been really aggressive on the offensive end. More confidence in his shot. Marcus is one of those guys you really need on your team. He's the heart of your team. He'll always go 100%, and you can always expect that. Yes, sir, guy. No problems off the court. He's just been great. Teron Petway, he's a rookie. He played at Nebraska last year. He was the Big Ten scoring leader. He's shown some great offensive skill. He had 36-1 game coming off the bench. Very exciting player. Very good on the defensive end too, with his size, his athleticism. And we got a couple other guys. Xavier Thames, Walter Lemon. 2 point guards. Walt has unbelievable speed and athleticism. When he gets to the rack, has played some big games for us. Xavier, he was a great college player. He's been great for us this year. Just being our quarterback, being our point guard, getting guys in spots and everything, and all those guys have just been great for us. And we have our veteran guys also, Reno, Ramon, Harris, who I've coached, for the majority of my coaching career. He hasn't been playing a lot, but I always can expect what Ramon comes to the court. You always know what he can bring.
Now, what are you doing to get ready for your game against the Skyforce? What is your game plan against them?
Well, been watching them. I'll watch more tomorrow and my trip. Just trying to look at different mismatches, how we can expose them on the offensive end. And they're a very exciting team. They won 7 in a row. They started 0-2, and then they won 7 in a row, and then they lost the game on Monday, this past Monday. But very, very good team. They're number 1 in our division, so this is going to be a huge game for us. Just getting ready, making sure that we're, my team's on the right page. We take care of ourselves first, and we're all in good feeling, before we really start looking into Sioux Falls. I mean, that's one of the reasons I have the best staff in the league. Is assistant coaches always are watching film, clipping while watching Sioux Falls last games, and getting their personnel clips ready and getting their play edits ready, so that when we have our shoot around and when we're on the road, we have these clips ready for guys, and guys can know all their tendencies from the personnel standpoint. They know all their play we want to guard those certain plays to beat them.
Now, who are some guys on that team that you are looking out for that you want to make sure your team watches out for and plays good defense against?
Darnell Stokes, he's a big inside guy. I mean, he's with the Heat. He's been on assignment. He's played majority of their games. He's a big load, really strong, really good around the basket, right hand hook, big time rebounder. DeAndre Liggins, veteran guy, has NBA experience, very good defender, very good scorer, really shoot it. And then, they got a couple of veteran guys. Trey Kelly, I coached a couple of years ago in the Vegas Summer League. Very good player, really good pick and roll. They just got a really good team, and it's going to be a great challenge to go against them.
Before I let you go, where do you want to see your team in the next few months? What is your plan to get into the playoffs? What does your team need to do?
I kind of stated a little bit before, we just got to keep getting 1% better. If we have the mindset of that every day, every time we step on the court, whether it's practice in the weight room or on the game night, court, just trying to get better. If we have that mindset every day, then the playoffs and the win will take care of itself. And, we just got to continue to stay healthy and continue to, stick with the plan, stick with the Pacer plan, Mad Ant plan, and, looking forward to some postseason play and see where it goes from there.
Now, what are some fun plans that you have for Christmas next week, dude?
I'm actually going home
Nice.
the 23rd. I'm going to go to the Cavs game. I know the Cavs play the Knicks. We play the 22nd, so after that game, I'll head back home, go to the Cavs game, and just spend some quality time with my nieces and nephews, and my brothers, my family, and then day after Christmas, we got practice. So only be home for a couple days, but it's good time spent, and just relaxing. I'll probably gain about 5 to 7 pounds. So I hope my mom's cooking, but it'll be well worth it. I'll probably see my buddy Kevin again. I'll see my best friend, so I'll hang out with him a little bit too. So be some old friends.
When you go back and see friends and you're at the bar and there's some good-looking ladies, do you ever name drop that you're a coach of an NBA D-League team? Let's be honest, bro.
No, man. I tell them all I know Ryan Hoppe, man, and it's easy.
That's a good name in Cleveland, right?
Yeah, of course, man. It's easy.
Well, dude, I'm glad that I met you, man. I would love to have you on again, and let's get that win against the Skyforce, bro.
All right, man. Sounds good, man. Appreciate you having me on. Thanks, Ryan.
All right. See you, dude.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour.
This is an official broadcast of Hoppe Radio. For more info, check out hopperadio.com and hoppesworld.com.